Hey guys, welcome to day 7, which is Saturday, May 13th. Today we left Aqaba, this lovely resort town right on the Israel-Jordan border, and we went all the way up to Amman, right on the Dead Sea, and so you'll see that at the end of the video. So the main site that we explored today is called Petra, and surely you've seen pictures of Petra before. Biblically, this is important because Moses took the King's Highway from Edom towards Moab, and right along the King's Highway was this site called Petra. And so, as we'll see, there are many different caves, many different what are called facades carved into the rocks. This is sandstone rocks, so really easy to carve into, and really elegant, wonderful, and Moses could have been right by here. And so the rock that Moses struck and water came forth from it, that is in or near Petra. Now what we're watching here is the first descent into the main facades of Petra. And so there are a couple different ways that you can get down there. You can take a golf cart for, whatever amount of money. You can take a horse, and that's kind of included within your ticket. Or you can walk through all of these rocks, including the Seek, which is what we're getting into now. So this kind of really narrow cavern, just gorgeous. Sometimes there are things carved into the walls. Soon you'll be able to see this little water channel carved into the wall so that you can ultimately, or they could ultimately get water from one end to the other. Used to be covered over to keep out contaminants and to kind of protect from the Petrans' enemies, which is what we see right here. Of course, you know me, I and my group decided to walk it, and really this was the most entertaining part of it all. However, what you have probably seen is this facade. It's called the Treasury, and it's thought to be called the Treasury because people thought that of all the places, this most magnificent facade would probably be where all of the treasures would be stored. However, joke's on them, it was empty when they finally excavated it. But it is the treasury, the facade that everybody actually knows about. And so once you get to the treasury, you can kind of go to the right and see a lot of different other facades, other caves, including this one. It's called the Starbucks Cave, and yes, they do serve coffee there. But also it is actually a tomb, and so there's three little squares that were carved out. Those are different sized tombs for essentially people who are different levels of rich, have different amounts of stuff. The heyday of Petra, when most of this stuff was actually carved and inhabited, was actually during the time of Christ, so about 100 BC to about 200 AD. That is really the golden age of Petra. The amphitheater that we'll see here is reflecting that this was also inhabited during the Roman period. Now, fast forward a while, during the Islamic age, this site became less important because it was not directly on the route to Mecca, and so this land fell under the control of the Bedouins and has been until very recently. In 1812, this site was rediscovered by a Westerner, so a Swiss explorer, and by 1949, it was open for tourists. Of course, the Bedouins were still living here, and it was kind of a struggle to actually relocate them. So in 1979, UNESCO made this a World Heritage Site and evicted the Bedouin to new houses. Now, these houses were subpar, and so again, the struggle continued until about 1982, when actual good housing, good schools, good hospitals were built to support this community. After Petra, we departed for lunch, and what's cool about our lunch site is that we could actually see Mount Nor, which is where Aaron, right, so the brother of Moses, Aaron, died and was buried on the tip of Mount Nor. And so in this photo, we can actually see the tip of Mount Nor, which has a memorial church built on top of it as well. At last, we drove all the way up to Amman and got to our hotel, which is right on the Dead Sea. And so way out in the distance there, we can actually see the Dead Sea. And of course, our hotel was absolutely breathtaking. We got there pretty late, right at sunset. And so I raced down to actually be able to see the water, even though the beach was closed. And so this is just a funny moment. They're all trying to push this guy up to hang a flag. The next morning, we would need to leave by 8 o'clock, and so that happened to be before the beach was opened once again, so stay tuned for our let's take a quick dip in the Dead Sea before we leave photos in the next video. Thanks for watching!